Morning, Dan. It's your bro, Seth Tommy Johns. Uh,
How are you today?
I'm doing fine. I'm feeling better. I'm not sick anymore. I was feeling better yesterday, but whatever. I forgot to tell you. Today's a big day because I get to take a short set of retirement and bar back at work for the first time since I've been down here. So that's pretty exciting. Um, I'm sorry about your iPad in your dream. That is terrible. Every once in a while, Portia will have a dream where I'm a jerk to her, and she'll wake up and be upset at me. But not me, but still upset at me. So that's a bummer. I know I know it would suck if my iPad came apart in a dream, if I had one. I do lists too, by the way. Um, I'm super jealous of your bacon, especially right now. I'm very hungry for breakfasty foods, and every time I rewatch your post, it makes me want to try your delicious bacon. I really am happy that you made it, and I wish I could be there for it. Um, the pros to having an endless summer. Um, I don't really know. Like, I guess a pro would be that when it snows an inch, entire cities shut down because no one around here has a budget for snowplows or salt or anything. So places just don't fucking open when it snows at all. Like, school is canceled when there's snow in the forecast the next day. I mean, besides that, I can't really think of anything right now. I appreciate you trying to get me to look on the bright side, but I've lived in apartments pretty much the whole time I've been anywhere else. So I didn't have to shovel or anything like that, and I really enjoyed driving around in the snow. But whatever. This isn't the last place I'm going to live for the rest of my life, so maybe Portia will get sick of how hot and humid it is, and I can convince her to move somewhere where there's snow again. Maybe. Um. I really want to hear about your dad's um, desert gun. That is super super cool. Especially if he like restored it or something. Like that would be really really neat. Like stories about guns that have been found or something and then restored to their original use and still function properly are really cool to me. Um, you Speaking of guns, you didn't have to give me a challenge because you already sort of did by asking me about 1911s. And so I hope you're fucking buckled up because now you're getting a brief history of the 1911 handgun. Okay. This guy is John Browning. Um, in the early 1900s, the US military decided that they weren't content using revolvers anymore, and they needed um, a good semi-automatic pistol to use instead. So they told a bunch of gun companies, and John Browning designed one for the Colt company, and he got his chosen out of like I don't know a bunch of guns because when they went out to trial the guns, he shot 6,000 rounds through his without a single failure. And when the gun got too hot, he just dunked it in a bucket of fucking water to cool it off. Like that's no big deal or something. Um, it was adopted by the U.S. military in 1911, hence the name. and has been the standard military sidearm from 1911 until 1985. 74 years of service, and no one came up with anything better. And it's still used by a bunch of other groups, like specialized groups. It's just not the standard issue anymore. So it's retardedly popular. It's really reliable. It's been around forever. And here are some reasons why I like it. For example, this is my 1911. You can see there's no magazine in the magwell. The chamber's empty, if you can see that. Just for safety reasons. I'm going to do this. Okay. This is a 1911. Reasons why I like it is that it's chambered in 45 auto. That's a pretty big cartridge. It's generally the biggest common cartridge available without getting into like magnum loads and having like unmanageable recoil. That's kind of a selling point, I guess. Like big but not too big, you know, like a good wiener. It's single action only. Let me explain to you what that means, assuming that you don't know anything about guns. You can get guns in single or double action. What double action means, I'm not happy with how this framing is working. What double action means is when you pull the trigger, the pull of the trigger will pull the hammer back, and then, like, once you've continued to pull it, then it will drop the hammer also. So I hope I'm explaining that okay. You only need to pull the trigger to make the gun go boom, but in doing so, it's doing twice the work, double action, because it has to pull the hammer back, and then it has to drop it. But 1911s are single action only, meaning that you can't make the gun discharge by just pulling the trigger if the hammer isn't back already. It's because of this feature that I think that it's a really safe firearm too. Like for example, like I can't drop the hammer right now, even if I wanted to. Like in order, and it has like 2 extra safeties on it. This is like your manual safety, and this is a grip safety. So even with the hammer cocked back, you could have the manual safety on and it wouldn't fire, or if you don't grab the grip safety, it won't fire. In order to fire a 1911, you need to have the hammer back, the manual safety off, and the grip safety engaged to drop the hammer. It is, I mean, it's hard to screw that up, like, the way I think about it, you know? Like, unless you really, you know, want to shoot the gun, it's not going to accidentally discharge. Knock on wood, fucking anyway, whatever. Also, going along with single action only triggers, there's a thing to consider with triggers, like their travel distance and their weight. As you can see, this trigger only has to move like a minimal amount of distance. The grip safety, before it'll drop the hammer. Double action triggers will have to travel a lot farther usually, and you'll have to exert a lot more force to do it, to pull back the hammer and then to drop it. So with a single action only trigger, you get a really nice, short, light, crisp trigger. And that and that helps you like hold the gun straight when you're trying to stay on target, and not pull the gun down when you're trying to pull the trigger. If that makes any sense. Um, but yeah, like since they've been around fucking forever, they're. Oh, by the way, yeah, this like I was saying before, Colt originally made the first 1911s, but they've become so popular that a ton of other manufacturers started making them. This is a Taurus. Um, Generally, they're all compatible with each other. I mean, with a few exceptions, like a few companies use proprietary things to make theirs different or special or whatever. But they're like, you know, serviceable and customizable, you know, by almost anywhere. Um, this one has this one has a lot of bells and whistles. Like the safety on this one is ambidextrous, so you can use it from either side. It has this accessory rail, which I'm using right now to put this light on, and that's like no big deal, for seeing in the dark when that happens. Never. But yeah, um, they're just immensely popular, like super reliable and safe and big. And this is my first handgun, and I'd be surprised if I. No, I probably will buy a different one eventually, but I'll be surprised if I ever find a new favorite. Is what I mean. Whew. Well, I hope that answered your question about 1911s, because it sure was fun for me to do it. Anyway, so my challenge to you for this day, because it does seem that we're doing this every day. You keep talking about singing me a song. Maybe that could happen. Also, in lieu of that, I challenge you to tell me, since I told you something about guns, something that you presumably don't know much about, you could tell me about babies. What are your plans for baby having and raising? Because I'm sure there's more to it than just, having it. Like, you know, you could tell me that you have a nursery, but what about that nursery makes it so cool and special? Or, what is important in the nursery to make it baby worthy? I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? I hope you know what I'm saying. Anyway. Check out this shirt. I stole it from Porsche. It says East Lansing freshman girls basketball. Oh yeah. You were here that day that we went to Kroger, and that dude commented on it, and they talked about picking up chicks. Well, anyway, this 14-minute video is going to take 10 hours to process and upload, so I guess I'll see you tomorrow, baby. Love you.